Alright, so today is another review from Algebra 1. We're going to write equations of lines. So yesterday we did slope. Today we're going to add to it. So obviously remember from yesterday, rise over run, or y2, y1, x2 minus x1. Parallel lines have the same slopes. Perpendicular have opposite reciprocal slopes. Okay. Now we're going to look at the equation of a line. You will always write your equation of your line in slope-intercept form. Okay? Yours will always be in slope-intercept form. Linear equations in this form can be written just like y equals mx plus b. M is the slope. B is the y-intercept. Okay, right. So remember, M and B are constants where x and y are variables. Every equation should have an x and a y. Don't do what you did with the circle equations and plug in all the numbers and not give me an x and a y. Okay. So, first thing we're going to look at is how do you write the equation with a graph? Right, so in this graph, what's the slope by looking at it? Think about how far down do I go to get from or up? From here to here, how far down do I go? I go down 3 and over what? 5. So our slope is negative 3/5. Now, this one's nice because the y-intercept is given to you. Remember, the y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. So this point right here is the y-intercept. Okay, so our y-intercept is 0, negative 3. I mean positive 3. Oh, that's why I put negative. So this positive 3, this is our b value. So if I give you a slope, they give you a y-intercept. Your equation should be y equals mx plus b. When we have m and we have b. So real easy. Y equals negative 3/5 x plus 3. And you're done. So if I give you the slope and I give you the y-intercept, you should just be able to plug them in. There's really no work. Just plug, call it a day. Example 2 is a little bit harder. Write the equation of a line passing through the points 8, 12, and 6, negative 4. And it gets cut off. That's okay. So we're going to have to take what we did yesterday and actually find the slope first. Okay, this one's a harder one. So we got to take what we did. Let's find the slope between 8, 12, and 6, negative 4. So the slope's here, negative 4 minus 12 over 6 minus 8. What does negative 4 minus 12 turn into? You're right, keep going. Yep, negative 16. 6 minus 8. Negative 2. What is that divide into? 8, good. So that's our slope. So if I go to the next step, I don't know the y-intercept. So far the only thing I know is y will equal 8x plus whatever my b is. Okay, because I don't know my y-intercept, I'm going to have to use one of these 2 points for x and y and solve for b. So do you want to use 8, 12, or you want to use 6, negative 4? Okay, so we're going to plug in 8 and 12 for x and y into this part because we're going to solve for b. So 12 equals 8 times 8 plus b. So if you don't know the y-intercept, you got to plug in a point. What's 8 times 8? So 12 equals 64 plus b. So what do I have to do to both sides to solve for b? Yes, just subtract the 64. And you get b is something. Negative 52. So I have my slope, I got my y-intercept. So my equation is y equals 8x minus 52. And this is what we're going to do the rest of the day. Pretty much. Example 3, I will tell you, was a SAT question for the juniors. Write the equation of a line passing through the point negative 6, 7 that is parallel to the line with the equation y equals 3x minus 5. So the first thing you got to figure out is the slope. You have to use this line to figure out the slope. What's the slope of this line? The slope of this line is 3. If I have a parallel line, what should the slope of the parallel line be? And I know it goes through negative 6, 7. So I'm going to use these two pieces of information and do what I did in example 2. Solve for the y-intercept. So once you have the given slope, find the parallel slope. They're the same. What usually ends up happening is people just rewrite this equation. That would be the same equation, not a parallel one. So we know y equals 3x plus b. So I'm going to use the negative 6, 7 to help me find b. Remember, this is x, this is y. So 7 equals 3 times negative 6 plus b. And what's 3 times negative 6? Good. So 7 equals negative 18 plus b. Now what do I do? I have to do to both sides. What? What's 7 plus 18? Jeff. So my equation is y equals 3x plus 25. Don't forget, your last step is to always write the equation. This is like your work. This can be done in your head. Make sense? This was a SAT question. So if you remember the parallel slopes are the same, it's super easy. If you don't remember parallel slopes are the same, it's not as easy. Now I will tell you it was multiple choice, so a lot of students just plugged in this for x and y in each equation and figured it out. Now let's try one similar. Write the equation of a line that passes through 4, negative 12, in the back. That's perpendicular to the line y equals negative 4/3 x minus 17. So start with the given line. What's the slope of the given line? Now it's got to be, our new line has to be perpendicular. So what would the perpendicular slope be? 3/4, and it's got to go through 4 and negative 12. So again, these are the two pieces of information you're going to use. The given slope just gets you the perpendicular slope. You ignore the 17. You don't even need it. Okay, it's really not there for any reason. So we're going to do the same process. So you would start, I always write it out, y equals 3/4 x plus b. Then I know I have to solve for that b. So then plug in 4 and negative 12 for x and y. Negative 12 equals 3/4 times 4 plus b. Now if you can't do 3/4 times 4 in your head, just use the calculator, just put parentheses. I don't know if you don't use parentheses. Oh, it gives you the same answer. I will always try to do it so it becomes a nice number. If it's not, you want to stick to a fraction. So like if we were doing 3/4 times 5, I wouldn't want a decimal answer for my slope. Slope should try to always be either a whole number or a fraction. So then you hit math frac and put that down. Okay, but right now you got a whole number, so it doesn't matter. So negative 12 equals 3 plus b. Last step. Subtract 3. So negative 15 equals b. You can sit in any of the open seats. That's Monica's seat. So my final answer is y equals 3/4 x minus 15. Make sense? The key there is to remember the perpendicular slope. Because we did the process the same way all 3 times. One we just had to find the slope. One we had to do parallel slopes. One we had to do perpendicular. All of those show up on the quiz on Friday. Okay, the last one is going from, this is, if you guys don't remember, this is standard form for a line to slope-intercept form. Okay, this is standard form, we're going to slope-intercept form. Somebody said in second hour this was on the PSAT? No. Okay, so rewrite the equation first. 2x minus 3y equals negative 12. We want to convert this to y equals mx plus b. So the question is really asking you to solve for y. Get y by itself. We're going to try and solve for y. This is a very difficult concept. James, you're going to get a new packet. For a lot of people. How do I get y by itself? What do you think I have to get rid of first? The 2x or the 3? I need to get rid of the 2x before I can get rid of the 3. Minus 2x. So I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. I get negative 3y equals, now you don't actually subtract. And in fact, I'm going to write the x first because it's mx plus b. I'm just going to do negative 2x minus 12. So when we're subtracting, we're not actually subtracting. It's just more like a swing move to the other side. Now, can I get rid of the negative 3? I have to do what? Divide by negative 3. When you divide by negative 3, you're dividing every single thing by negative 3. there's 3 parts you got to divide by -3. You're dividing every single thing. These cancel. What does -2 divided by -3 turn into? Yeah, just regular 2/3. Keep the x. What's -12 divided by -3? 4. What's a negative divided by a negative? Right, negative divided by negative. If I was just dividing by regular 3, these would both stay negative. Good question. Now we're going to plot this. Do you guys remember how to draw a line? In slope and, well, you all know how to draw a line, but in slope-intercept form. Where do I start? The y-intercept, which is, so go up to 4. Each one's by 2. Go up to 4. Then my slope is 2/3. So I'm going to have to go up 2 over 3. So because everything's by 2, I'm really going to go up 1 over 1.5. So I'm going to go up 1 over 1.5. Up 1. And remember, you can go down and to the left, too. Down 2 over 3. Down 2 over 3. You can still go down 2 over 3 and you get to the same spot. Even though the scale's by 2. And there's your line. The reason that we convert a standard form to a y-intercept form is because it's easier to graph. All of these problems you have to do on the quiz on Friday. Questions?